Ripple's escrow system is running on a clock, and based on current numbers, it could be completely drained as early as 2033 or as late as 2035, depending on how much XRP Ripple decides to relock every month. As of August 2025, Ripple has about 35.6 billion XRP still locked in escrow. To put that into perspective, this reserve is worth roughly $106.8 billion at today's market value. Now, let's take a step back. Ripple created this escrow system in December 2017, locking up over 54 billion XRP to provide transparency and predictability in token supply. Each month, 1 billion XRP is released. But here's the important part. Ripple usually does not keep all of it in circulation. Instead, they relock a large portion back into escrow. This way, they avoid flooding the market with too much supply at once. From January to August 2025, Ripple has followed a consistent pattern. Every month, they released 1 billion XRP and relocked 700 million XRP. That means Ripple effectively used 300 million XRP per month. The only exception came in June 2025, when Ripple relocked just 670 million XRP, leaving 330 million XRP in circulation. This seemingly small difference actually matters a lot for projections. According to analysis from the account XRP Liquidity, which tracks Ripple's escrow behavior, if Ripple continues using 300 million XRP monthly, the escrow could last about 9 years and 8 months. That pushes the depletion date to around 2035. By next month, September 2025, the escrow will already dip slightly lower, reaching 35.3 billion XRP after the relocking process. But if Ripple decides to increase its monthly usage to 400 million XRP, the timeline changes dramatically. The reserves would dry up in just 7.5 years, bringing the depletion date closer to 2033. And here's the biggest twist. If Ripple ever stops relocking tokens completely, the floodgates open. In that case, 12 billion XRP would hit the market every year, meaning the entire escrow could be gone in 3 years. So the key question is, which path will Ripple take? Ripple has always presented escrow as a mechanism for stability. By controlling the release schedule, they show investors and regulators that XRP is not just dumped without oversight. However, the pace of these relocks and the decision on how much to keep in circulation give Ripple enormous influence over XRP supply and, by extension, its price. Here is where the debate in the community begins. On one hand, Ripple's discipline so far suggests they want to keep a stable and predictable market. For nearly 8 years, their behavior has shown restraint. The 700 million XRP relock pattern has become almost a rule of thumb, giving traders confidence. But on the other hand, Ripple is a company. It needs liquidity for its operations, partnerships, and legal battles, especially its ongoing clash with the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. If costs rise or new opportunities emerge, Ripple might decide to keep more XRP out of escrow. That would accelerate the depletion timeline and potentially pressure the market with greater supply. Another interesting angle is how Ripple might manage its strategy in the face of adoption. If XRP usage in cross-border payments or institutional corridors grows significantly, Ripple could argue that more supply is necessary to meet demand. That could justify increasing the monthly release from 300 million to 400 million or beyond. At the same time, the fear scenario, stopping relocks altogether, would be highly disruptive. Injecting 12 billion XRP annually could overwhelm demand and drive prices down. While this extreme case is unlikely, it reminds us how much control Ripple still maintains. So what should we take away from this? First, the escrow system is not infinite. It has a clear end date, whether that's in 3 years, 7 years, or nearly a decade. Second, Ripple's decisions month by month will give strong signals about their priorities: stability versus growth, market control versus liquidity needs. Ultimately, this is why the XRP community pays such close attention every month. A single change, like June's deviation from the 700 million relock pattern, sparks discussion and speculation. Will Ripple stick with the long-term plan of slow release, or shift gears to accelerate depletion? For now, the numbers point toward 2035 as the most realistic endgame. But as we all know in crypto, things can change quickly. Ripple's escrow strategy is not set in stone, and the path they choose will play a major role in shaping XRP's future.